Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's stream. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the fantastic show. Well, in my opinion, but we're going to be like having a bit of a chat between us, seeing how it's going. Of how everyone here thinks of Fallout, the series. So I'd like to bring everyone's attention to the latest poll that is in the chat there, and I would really
Uh,
appreciate if you guys voted on it. Do you think Kusri is from the Vault, or is she a topsider? Yes, no, or she's a ghoul or a member of the Brotherhood of Steel. Kusri, where do you think you're from?
I'm gonna fight you. I'm in the void.
So I watched the show here with Kusri and Bubba. Phil and Mombi both watched it on their own and both have made stuff. Well, Phil definitely has made stuff about it. Mombi, what did you think about it?
I like the series, but I've never played the games, so I didn't really have a background
in
except
blind.
asking my.
You went in blind.
I went in blind, yeah, except asking my children.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't very blind.
But still a smart choice.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good.
Oh, it was, yeah. Kusri, what did you think?
It is a good show. Do not eat while you're watching it.
Are you eating right now?
No.
Oh, good, because you know when
Do not
Asher
eat while you're watching it.
yeah, so the show is quite
Unless
great.
you
Now
want
the
to
game,
somehow get the taste of what it would be for like ash jerky or something.
yeah. Now that is a thing. The show is actually very gory.
Just a wee bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's mid level. If you've watched Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, it's about mid level gore.
yeah. But so just a bit of a background, there, folks. So in 2077, after a decades-long resource war, the nuclear bombs went off all over the surface of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of it, we did not know why, and for years now, this is canon to the games. It's 9 years after Fallout 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now there are some differences between the games. For example, every game has its own Pip-Boy. The Pip-Boy that you're seeing in the show, the silver one, is known as the Vault-Tec Executive Pip-Boy because they're the only ones who have it. Now, the Vault. Oh, we have a comment. I guess the people probably disregarded the lore for this just as much as any. No, they did not.
Actually, no.
So, so they created the Pip-Boy for it, and this one is the silver one. It's the not the Pip-Boy one, because the Pip-Boy one was essentially a computer on a desk, and it had all bulbs and tubes, and it was very primitive. Then there's a Pip-Boy 3000, which you can switch things out. There's a miniature Pip-Boy. There's a medical Pip-Boy. The Pip-Boy is a personal computer on your wrist because, fun fact, they did not invent in this universe. They did not invent the microchip. So what this Fallout actually is it's how the 50s viewed the future. That's what they ran with. That's why everything looks like the 50s. Hey, Torshi, good to see you, man. Imagine being a terrible, mediocre Fallout.
Inundated.
Thank you. And then you start for anything that you would give a chance for Amazon. Yeah, exactly. Like there's so then what happens is the bombs go off, right? In 2077. This is at 219 years later. Now, in those 219 years, not everyone made it into the vaults, and the vaults were not exactly what they were meant to be. Everyone is. That's why everyone here, when Phil is done, he'll get his own number. So all the vaults had their own experiments going on. Now in the show, it starts off with Lucy. Lucy is Lucy McLean. She is the daughter of the overseer of Vault. Kusri, do you want to say the number? Because I'm Irish and I can't say it.
No.
I fucking hate you. Vault.
It's 33.
Yes, it's Vault 33. Now, so her Raiders, she's in a trinary vault with 31 and 32, right? They switch breeders, is what they call them, for resources between vaults 32 and 33. God, I hate this. Then,
Kind of like in JJ Trek when Chekhov was trying to say Victor.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So then that's when Lucy gets married to this guy, and when at her wedding, that's when things start to go wrong. The inciting incident. Anyone want to take it from here?
Yes, she says that he looks like a potato, rotten potato, and then he and said, "Bitch, please, I ain't robbing," and they get into a cat fight.
Yeah.
I'm totally lying, by the way, with that.
Oh yeah. No. So okay. So what happened is that at the marriage, like everyone there is acting too sweet. They're all too happy. They're too nice, including the other side, who were a bit, for Vault Dwellers, were a bit dirty, gruff, rough around the edges. They then come out, and we then find out that the catchphrase of the show is "Okie dokie." Yeah. So she gets a wedding dress, and then she gets married. She
That
ends
wedding
up.
dress should have popped a seam.
Hey, Kusri, I have a realization for you. That wedding dress was passed down, yes?
Yeah.
So were the underwear.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, so you know, I mean, we're all ignoring the big elephant in the room.
Go ahead.
They mentioned what they call cousin stuff like 300 times in that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not a good thing to.
Yeah, no, it's inevitable.
about.
It's
Right,
inevitable
that is
in the
true.
in
is
that
true
kind
in
of.
vaults,
But we didn't have to make it so apparent. You know,
Mhm.
it didn't have to be an actual plot point. But yet here we are.
Bubba,
Yeah.
you don't
What?
want to do cousins? You don't want to do cousin stuff with me?
I
So-
don't know, Phil. If I had a cousin like you, I might consider it, buddy.
Oh shucks.
So we'll get to Maximus in a few minutes. So then after the wedding, after she consummates with the guy who she really should have got herself checked out after that, because seeing as her Geiger counter starts going off as soon as it's turned back on.
Yes, but to that point, by their standards, because of how hermetically sealed they've been for so long, like just us having cell phones on us and having the sunlight actually come down on us, we would register as radioactive. So I contend that the surface dwellers were not really that radioactive. That the Geiger counter would have went off with any of us. We're in that world.
They actually were.
I'm just saying, I feel like we have just as much radiation in us. Maybe not the same kind.
We have a good bit of radiation, but the surface dwellers, because they're drinking water and everything. Now, so her dad, and it turns out that everyone in Vault 32 is dead. Sadly, boo-hoo, wah. They're all dead and turned into what?
That was so emotional. Good job.
I know.
That was
They
so Red
died.
Dwarf.
They died and got turned. They died and got turned into ass jerky.
God blimey, they're all dead.
Ass jerky ain't gonna make itself.
So
I'd
that is
offer you
when-
one of these cherry tomatoes, but I can see you got a hole in your neck.
one of Bubba's favorite scenes. So that is when it turns out that everyone from Vault 32 are actually a group of raiders who come to steal her dad. So they take him and then they piss off. And so she has to go looking for him. Well, there's another mystery of like everyone in the vault and what's actually going on in the vaults. So yeah. So then she ends up going off chasing after dad, a meeting after Captain Dumbass, also known as Titus or Maximilian. What did you think of the three main characters?
The ghoul was cool.
Yeah, Cooper is awesome.
The chick had many blonde hair movements.
Well, that's actually good because a load of like big YouTubers, and now we're calling her Mary Sue. But if you actually pay attention to the beginning of it, she's got close quarter combat.
Yeah. She got thrashed over and
she did.
over again. She cried so many times it wasn't even funny. Like, you feel actual pity for her. I have to hand it to them. They did not make her a Mary Sue. She struggled the entire fucking way. She fought for absolutely everything and lost a damn finger to an ally. Like, that was absolutely spectacular. I gotta hand it to her. Lucy did us proud.
Lucy did. Like, she stated that she had actually learned her training stats she had were rifle training. She had science and medical training, and she also had gymnastics and fight training. On Phil's channel, Fred says her photo show was good, but apparently, no, you don't. So you don't have to know the game.
You're all good there with that. You get a good premise of it, and it's its own good story without having to worry about what the games had to add to it.
And they tell us things that the games don't tell us.
They do.
Playing the games ends up just giving that extra little bit of, oh, hey, that happened. Oh, hey, that's what that makes it fit with this.
Yeah.
But you can enjoy it on its own.
If it's okay, I'll bring up one of the issues that's been brought up about the game versus the show, if that's okay.
Yeah,
the Brotherhood of Steel. In the games, everyone is like, sirs, when they're talking about the Brotherhood of Steel, right? It appears that, but in this one, when everyone is talking, they're, hey, Bone, good to see you, buddy. In this one, when everyone is talking, they're like, yes, my lord, yes, squire. We get new ranks, clerics. We get in religious zealots. It appears that they have actually taken part, like, and absorbed into them the Red Legion, like the Caesar's Legion.
Well, I feel like the Brotherhood of Steel in the show was like more dogmatic than they potentially were in the games. And then look at the games were like pretty badass, to be honest.
Oh, they were.
Well, but it has been a few years since Fallout 4, and so it kind of makes sense that, even the leader of them, as he's, politicking around, he's, he even says, the Knights, they've lost their way. So, things do change, and different factions might not have the same views as other factions, even within the same organization.
Yeah.
Hey, Sunshiner. Good to see you, man. I've never really played the game. I only watched episode 2 yet. Man, it's a really good show. You will enjoy it. But I get the feeling that will meet...
Very big spoiler alert, though, sir. Like, if you're watching this stream, we're talking about things that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so just giving you a heads up that there is spoilers coming. Now, we meet someone from the Enclave, which to me shows that the Institute is gone. Right? Because if the Institute was still there, the Enclave could not be doing what they were doing. So yeah. So what did you guys think of the Doctor, the Enclave, like that part of the show?
Are we talking about the guy with the dog?
Yeah.
With the cold fusion? Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. First of all, I love that actor. Everything he's in, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, he always plays a creepy little scientist. He's or information gatherer, the kind of thing. Like he's absolutely great. I love the dynamic with the dog. That whole situation was spectacular. I love the cool, calm way he deals with everything. He's got that voice that makes you think that this man sounds calm, but the whole world's about to crumble all around us, and he can tell. I absolutely, and the way he carried himself, the way he survived all that time, and it just, it was beautiful. It made.
It was. Now, we got to see how cruel and fucked up the Institute is, because the introductory scene for this new character, let's just call him the Doctor, forget his name, right? He's not in it long. So the Doctor who has the cold fusion...
Most of him's not in it long.
Yeah. He has a dual part. He loses his head, if you know what I mean.
Not quite all there.
What drives me crazy about that part, though, is how calm he was when he tells her to chop his head off.
Okay, but he had lived so long at this point.
I know, but how many people are going to be that calm?
It's just like, oh, here's the tool.
There ain't no telling how many drugs he had in his system either. Like over the years, like what was keeping him that calm.
Yeah,
his blood must have been fucking chamomile at that point.
Well, and you'll notice he made a decision the moment he found out her name. When he found out who she was, and then she kept showing up. Like he tried to make her go home. He tried to tell her, in the words of Yoda, only pain and misery will you find. But the point is that when he realized that her fate was inextricably bound to his, he made a decision, and he told her, I ain't gonna make it. Take off my head. And
really interesting. But what was really good and interesting about him is that when she met him, right? When Lucy met him, like she had lit herself a fire. She's like talking. She's like, and then you build Abraham a little log house, and you put him inside into bed, and then, right, like going step by step how you make it. But he was sitting there in the dark, and he's like, only a fool would light an open flame at night out here.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, wait, what? And she goes, and then you hear the dog like ripping apart these things, and it's rad roaches from the games, which they done a fantastic job with, I must say.
I love his explanation for them too. Like he goes back to the, like he talks about back when people just made fun of cockroaches outlasting nuclear bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But the way that he also snuck up on her, she didn't know he was there. That really stunned me.
That goes to show how, but that just shows how green she is.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was not going to, like she walked up to the guy, hello, like when she was on the beach when the guy who was trying to put sand into the water filter, right? She walked up to him and hello. Like that was her. She is stupid at times. My God.
Okay, no. Stupid implies that she knows better, but she was naive. She was very young, like she's ignorant. She does not understand what's going on, and she learns very quickly.
Oh, she does. But yeah, like we get the towns. For any of you video games fans, Shady Sands is gone.
Who?
Shady Sands.
Yeah, the hell, I don't know which game that was in. My brother's the one who plays them, not me.
I think it's Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, it's in New Vegas.
Yeah. Say hail to People's Republic if you're a fan of the NCR. Fallout 1 and 2. Yeah, they're so in now the timeline doesn't make sense because they're being lied to about the years in Shady Sands. But Shady Sands was destroyed by a nuclear bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, from my understanding, it takes place like what after was it New Vegas?
No, the show takes place after New Vegas, but the freaking explosion takes place about 20 years before the show, right?
Even though for the first few episodes we are led to believe that Shady Sands was taken out the same time the rest of the world it was. And, if you know the games, that's not true. However, if you're going into it blind, you start to realize about episode 4 that the story isn't adding up.
So the show Shady Sands was destroyed, let's say, about 2076, right? If not, let's say 2070, right? But the show has Shady Sands at 2256. That's written on the board. Hold on. The show started in 2077. That is when.
It's in our future.
This is an alternate Earth, like up to that point as well, not just post-apocalypse.
Yeah. Which is so. Talking about ghouls, what did you think of the main ghoul?
I thought he was cool.
Cooper was amazing.
So, so that's a question I have since I went into it blind. My oldest son Tony was telling me that the ghoul is not in the game. He was written for the show.
So all
that's
these
very true. Yes,
are brand new, but the species of ghouls are actually in the game.
Okay,
right? You can become ghoul via medicine, via radiation. Nobody knows exactly how people become ghouls, but the one thing that all ghouls agree on is they're all going feral.
Yes, and they've got a certain drug that keeps them from it. It is inevitable, though. They're fighting the clock. They have to barter for that drug,
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Cooper is that he is not. At one point in time, somebody refers to him as the ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
He has. You've seen the show. He's been around since the beginning, and since this is canon, he is who the little mascot on the Pip-Boy is supposed to be, emulating.
So,
and that's
you're his big fan. You want to tell us about his backstory?
Oh, absolutely. He was he's in show business. He's an actor, and suddenly, he was a war hero for that. They kind of gave him kind of a Ronald Reagan backstory, but he, his wife, asks him to become a spokesman.
Wife was a Vault-Tec executive.
She's a Vault-Tec executive. I was getting there anyway. Vault-Tec, so they can get more people to buy, their way into the vaults. He, little by little, even though it makes him uncomfortable, he does the job. He starts to believe in the cause until one of his acting buddies, tells him that things aren't quite right. Lays out in kind of a conspiracy theory kind of way. Tells him, this, that they obviously need these peace talks. They need these treaties to fall through. They have, an express interest in war continuing because they need people to continue to buy these vaults so they continue to make money. So he doesn't want to believe it, but little by little, he is, forced to admit that things aren't quite right. He finds out his wife isn't quite who he thought she was, and he's with his daughter when the bombs drop. So we keep seeing flashbacks somewhere between Highlander and Arrow style. They keep showing us bits and pieces of his past throughout the series, and though we get the express feeling, like we understand he's not a good guy, he's not the bad guy either. Everything about him seems to be just for the sake of survival. He shows us little by little through every fight. We see the advantages the ghouls have. We also see the disadvantages that ghouls have, and he's really good at he has become the character he portrayed on TV. He's this raw edge, and not even the character that he wanted to play. It was after they started rewriting him, and he even protested it at the time. But he has become.
Sounds like.
Yeah, and so he's become this. He went from this John Wayne figure to being more of a Clint Eastwood figure, and so he does. He learns to kill. He even states that he does it for fun. And we know that's not true. He's trying to convince himself that it's true. And of course, by the end of the season, we realize everything he's doing is to try to find his wife and daughter.
Yeah.
Regardless of what state they might be in, or how happy they may or may not be to see him when they get there.
So one of the things that is going on a slow plot with him is the dog. Right? Dog meat.
Yeah, forgot about the dog.
What was that?
I forgot about the dog.
Yeah. So, there's one dog called Dog Meat in every Fallout game. Right? Now, the thing about it is that, building on what Bubba was saying, is he's trying to say, like, he stabs the dog, then he heals the dog, then he abandons the dog, goes back and gets the dog. Then he locks the dog somewhere, goes back and gets the dog again. And by the end of it, the dog, he's like...
he wasn't the one that locked the dog up. He wasn't the one that locked the dog up.
No,
that
he
was
locked the dog in the door, like behind the door, like to get him away from him while he left. And then he went back and got the dog.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was to keep the dog safe. I thought you were talking about in the refrigerator when the one dude from the Brotherhood locked him up. Sorry about that.
Yes.
No worries. But then... Yeah, no, not Praetor Maximus. It was his dumbass squire.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned around and he was like, "I'm sorry, you're not him," because his dog Roosevelt was his best friend. And then by the end of it, it was his dog. Like, it was his dog. And so yeah. So that, like, the ghoul is really well done. And Mommy, did you know that the Brotherhood of Steel costume and the ghoul makeup are both practical?
I thought it was pretty cool that the Brotherhood of Steel was practical.
All the Brotherhood.
No,
of
I
Steel.
didn't know that.
Yeah, all the Brotherhood of Steels were practical, all of them. But so talking about the original Thaddeus. Kusi, what did you think of Thaddeus, the original guy?
He seemed like a freaking
dumbass.
Yeah.
For like, especially the Brotherhood of Steel, he was an out and out coward. Mommy, would you agree?
The original Titus had no right to be in that suit.
No, he did not.
And we get that impression that not all of the knights are like him. A lot of them have become like him, but that he's a special kind of stupid. Like, he is incredibly
He fought a bad bear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But tried to send his unarmored squire in there to get it out first, and it ended up mauling him instead. Like I really loved that whole scene. That was absolutely beautiful.
Which goes to show the difference between him and Maximus, because when Maximus was in the lake, right, his squire was like, "My lord, I will go and get it." He's like, "No, I am a knight. I will do it."
And that's after he's already confronted this guy secretly, of course, because he doesn't know that's really Maximus, because this guy and his buddies bullied him, beat the crap out of him, razzed him, hazed him all the time, and you see Maximus constantly weighing his realism and the abuse he suffered with his conscience. And it's absolutely awesome. Like I love the way his story is playing out too.
Nice. Yeah. So
I think they chose the right actor for that role too.
They did.
And he's from a Chuck Lorre show, like right before this, called Disjointed. And the comedy side of him is pretty funny as well. I mean, it was really good.
Where it was really good was in the Vault 4. That was where that whole vault was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were out on the look for the head, tracking it down, they come across a vault, Vault 4. And Vault 4 can only be described as fucking weird with a cult. It has its own inbuilt cult, everyone.
Yes, but it's actually an overall harmless cult, and that's what makes it so weird.
Yeah.
Just has the tiniest little bit of blood. It's fine.
Yeah, blood, nudity, all the stuff to make a Sunday. And they turned around, and I think there was something in the food to pacify Maximus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, it definitely worked for the rest of them, and we don't act. It makes me think though that the reason why it didn't seem to work on Lucy was because we only saw her eat once there, but it might be because she's from a vault, and whatever chemicals are in it to keep them docile, she's already had in her system, and she's already broken that programming.
Yes. That program was broken, but Maximus was eating everything. And then he said, so when they first went in, she said she was bored and she said, basically, do you want to have sex? And they brought up a hilarious scene where Maximus is like, oh, there's something wrong with me. Like, not me, but some guys, it happens as well. That his dick gets hard. And she's like, yes, that's the desired effect. Which then brought up the best saying in it. Would you like to make my cock explode now? Oh, that was fucking funny when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
But what were your favorite individual parts from the show?
Well, definitely the first real gunfight when he's eating the cherry tomatoes, and that is the best line. But it's after he finishes whooping ass, when he pulls out a handful of bottle caps, throws it at the guy running the market. That's for the tomatoes. I absolutely love that. But I'll tell you, my favorite, and it's not one moment, it's the whole thing. Talking about perfect actors for the part. Was it what is his name? Demoises or whatever, the brother, her little brother. Yeah. That actor, I liked him and all the stuff. Like when I was a teenager, I saw him in all sorts of stuff. And then he just kind of drops off the map. And for this to be his first big role, coming back, I love his character development. And you can tell there's something dark in him. Like, you can tell that he's not going to be on board. Yeah, I'm just saying, you can tell he is not going to be on board with what his father's doing, but he is not going to be a good guy either. And it's I absolutely love the way, he is going full Magneto, on this whole situation. He's, his curiosity and the way he, the way he handles everything. Betty is scared to death of him. and he has way too much time on his hands, and they don't know what to do with him. And little by little, everything his sister found out and went through hell to find out, he found out back home. And I love that. I love that dynamic a lot, because eventually they will meet up again, and only time will tell whether it's his friend or foe. And it's, you know, his character development, every one of his moments, and it is, they did not, it's not like they played sinister music like in a like in a superhero show or something, but you can see, and the actor does such a great job when his gears are turning and he's about to do something sinister for the right cause, but nonetheless sinister.
You could see when there's something that's going on in the background to where he's just like plotting it out, and
how he's known, and how he's known. There's been a part of him. His sister never questioned anything, but you can tell, especially going back and rewatching, you can see the dynamic between him and their father. How they don't quite get along. They, on the surface, they both are cordial to each other, but there is something. He knows that this weird life that they live is not right, and he knows somehow his father is sinister.
So
like, I love that.
Game that he was actually playing was a map game on his wrist, which could be him in a way trying to look at the world. But the thing is, he goes exploring the vaults with his cousin Incest Man.
To be fair, that poor guy, you know, I mean, that's just the way their culture is in there.
Yeah, but he then turns around and he calls him out for being a coward when no one else would do anything. And he's like, after everything you've seen, after everything we've done today, like, you're just going, you're doing what they're saying and being sealed into a vault willingly.
And his reply is absolutely spectacular. Out of all the characters, I was not expecting to have self-awareness. I certainly was not expecting him to be that self-aware. But when he says those words, we're all cowards. That's why we live in a vault. That, like, it hits so hard. And it's from that point where, you know, where little brother goes from being almost brave to just, I mean, things, he realizes that he's going to have to start making actual moves. And from that point on, he makes actual moves.
So he kills all the raiders. He frames the security guard without a second thought. He's like, would you like the cake? And she's like, I'm going to put this in my room. And he's like, you do that. And then all the raiders who had some of the cake died. What? Although, let's be honest, I'm going to ask everyone here, would you have eaten that cake?
Okay, but from okay, I love yellow cake, but from
yellow cake, not yellow cake.
What was it?
Oh, okay. Oh, Jello cake. Oh, yeah. Oh. But that's the thing from the Raiders' perspective. They've heard these pushovers. You know, they came in, they kidnapped, they raped, pillaged, and plundered, and these people were talking about being nice and kind to them anyway. They had absolutely no reason to be afraid to eat that cake, and that is why it's such a big deal, is because they they had no reason to suspect anything. And so when he decides to take them all out, so yes, if I were in the Raiders' position, I might be stupid enough to eat that cake, because these people have been gullible as hell from the very beginning. Betty knows, though, and I love that, because there is nothing she can do about it.
Oh, he is dangerous. But the thing about it is that he got himself into a pickle. He went exploring into Vault 31, where he found Bud, who's a brain... So you want to say what it is?
One more time.
Who Bud is? In Vault 31, the little robot?
Fucking Roomba with a knife.
Yeah, it's a brain on a Roomba with a knife. Even the subtitle said brain on a Roomba. Oh, Kusri, there's a message here for you from Farv.
I know, I saw it.
Sandland.
I was already, it's fun.
Yeah. So he is now trapped in Vault 31. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to get into it, or do you think he's going to try and do something?
I thought he was going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to miss. I thought it was going to get being up, scarred, severely damaged, if not dead.
Yeah. Okay. Ghostly, what do you think?
One more time.
What do you think is going to happen to him now that he's trapped in Vault 31? Right? As we saw in the last episode, what do you think is going to happen?
I think that they're going to get to a point where he's about to deal with being in cryo for a bit, but then the father realizes the next steps there and tries to replace him in cryo with the daughter.
Okay. Mombi, what do you think?
I think he's going to ride it out in the cryo.
You think he's just going to get in?
But then again, he's such a bold character now that he's found out all this information.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Given the fact that he's fighting a vacuum cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Bobo, what do you think he's going to do?
Honestly, I absolutely believe that when his father eventually gets back to that vault, back to Vault 31, he is going, there's going to be a confrontation. If there is anybody that's going to take his father's life, it's going to be him. And I would absolutely love to see it, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so let's talk about the dad for a minute. The dad starts out as this: I'm going to protect my people and my kids, right? And then in the last episode, we discovered that we'll talk about Vault-Tec, but he's one of the Vault-Tec executives. Kind of. He's an executive assistant. And he is after basically stealing Cold Fusion. But he is also the man who nuked Shady Sands. This guy, who is just a low-level executive, is one of the most cold-blooded fuckers on the planet. He fucking nuked Shady Sands because his wife wouldn't come with him. He got his kids, but to get back at his wife, he nuked her. Then, he was he only put in the code that activated the Cold Fusion because his daughter told him to. This guy's fucking cold as ice. He stole the suit. When he saw the ghoul, he knows something bad. Because when the ghoul said, "Where's my family?" he yeeted himself out the window. Damn it, Kusri, what did you do to me?
Oh god, that laugh is never good.
Yeah, no. But so he threw himself out the window in a Model T40 Brotherhood of Steel frame. He not a Model T50 or a Model T60 from Fallout 4, a Model T40, the older one. And so he got that, and he went off. Where he has gone to, people, is he's actually gone to. That's because Todd hates Nusar and New Vegas. So he's actually gone to New Vegas. At the end of it, we discovered that he's actually gone.
Saw the big death claw head and everything.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually from, I believe it's Fallout New Vegas, where you have to fight a death claw lair. That is the tunnel that he's just come out of.
That's beautiful.
Now, we do not, in fairness, Farv, we don't know what's happened to the NCR because we do not hear much about it at all. Mm-hmm. Moldover is just a faction of it. They may have lost the war with the Brotherhood of Steel, but we don't know. But there are current flags flying around the place of the New Californian Republic. So I do believe it is still standing. So, yeah. Now Maximus is after joining back up with the Brotherhood of Steel, but the way the Enclave is back up. The Enclave is there. The Enclave is chasing them, but we only focus on the Brotherhood of Steel as a faction in the first season. But I'm telling you, Farv, the Enclave is back. Like, they're working on super mutants. In one of it, they actually had a super mutant on a bed. Talking about super mutants, looking over at my poll. Oh, Man Potato, you need to play Mr. House and Caesar's view of the Brotherhood. I will get. Okay, Kusri, would you like to know your tally on the vote of the poll so far?
Sure.
I asked the audience, is Kusri from a vault or is she a topsider? Yes, no. So yes, you're from a vault. You're a topsider. You're also voted as a ghoul, right? And a member of the Brotherhood of Steel.
How the ever-loving fuck do I do that?
I don't know, but okie dokie.
I'm sure if you live long enough, you could probably do just a little bit of everything. Just as long as you're in the Brotherhood before you're a ghoul and they don't know you're still alive.
So, talking about ghoul, let's talk about dumbass
So
Squire
had to
first.
start in the vault, then go out, end up a ghoul due to some chicken fucker.
Yeah. I knew I shouldn't have trusted a doctor that smelled like that. Yeah. No, absolutely excellent. But before we do that, let's talk about the fact that the Gulper has human ligaments down its throat.
Oh God.
Oh,
Man, that was crazy, so satisfying.
Yeah, but we also learned from it is that the Gulper was actually human at one stage. My great uncle Peter. That's what the overseer said. It's actually the same Gulper.
I always wondered what was going to happen to potatoes in a post-nuclear war.
We become god kings.
Or giant axolotl creatures with human fingers in their throat.
Well, one or the other. So the Vault Seer, the leader of the Vault in Vault 4 said that the axolotl with the fingers in its mouth was actually his great uncle, which is kind of funny. So yeah, now and it has all and they don't spare. It's really creepy because when they go into his mouth, they actually have fingers. Oh, that was fucking creepy.
Well, someone's got to pull it down and keep it down the throat. Yeah.
I know.
I'll tell you though, that takes getting handsy to a whole new level.
Don't you mean takes getting fingered?
Deep-throated, fingered, and handsy should not all be synonymous, but that creature makes it work.
Yeah. Hey, dog meat, all in the universe. I really should be in there, but I'm Enclave. So yes, fingers in the axolotl's mouth. A new creature introduced to this show called the Gulper has, when it opens its mouth, has fingers in there. Very unsettling. Chicken or fish? Human. So, we get this. What was the scribe's name again?
Which one?
Oh, you're talking about Tiberius?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thaddeus?
Thaddeus, whatever. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Thaddeus was the code name of Maximus. That's the name of the guy who he took the armor
No,
from.
no,
So
No, that
Titus.
was Titus.
No, that was Titus. Remember he
Thaddeus
said
took
we're
the bully.
so we're the T boys. Thaddeus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, Thaddeus. That's it. Thank you, Kusri.
Mm.
So Thaddeus got his name wrong. Thaddeus, yes, shows up, right? And when he shows up, he is an immediate dumbass. Like, he wades deep. He's like over eager to get branded. He's like, oh yeah, this is the best thing ever. Like, I am your knight. Please don't stand on me. And he like gets down on his hand and knees. But who wants to talk about what happens to the poor scribe? Any takers?
I guess I will. So he's all more than willing to do all the stuff that Maximus wouldn't do or was hesitant to do. Whereas like this man craves being treated the way that Titus was treating Maximus. Like everything about it, he's willing to go and risk his life and die, and he's just he is all into it. It's absolutely ridiculous how much this man sleeps over the nights. Now, whereas Maximus has Maximus has an actual like moral fiber. This kid is absolutely pathetic, and everything's it's more about the image than it is about the actual what the knights are supposed to stand for.
Oh, yeah.
Now he and little by little the two of them bond, and Maximus has every reason to hate this little peckerhead, but yet he still can't quite bring himself. He didn't want him there. He tried to get them not to send him a squire at all because he ain't supposed to be in the suit, and he knows that if they find out he's still alive and his knight's dead, they're going to kill him anyway. But he figures if he goes ahead and brings in the target, fulfills the mission, they might go ahead and make him a knight. Yeah.
Oh no, he's saying see ya.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so then we get this kid, and I love how they carry these big giant duffel bags, kind of like golf caddies. Like I find that very funny. But anyway, it finally comes to a head when Maximus' conscience gets the better of him. He decides to tell him who he really is, and when he finds out, this little pecker knows exactly where the weak point on the armor is, pulls out his pulls out his what is a reactor core or whatever, the fusion power source, fusion core, and decides he's going to leave him for dead. Luckily, Lucy gets there in time to save him, but before that, he steps on his foot, crushes it, and this bastard manages to waddle away out into the damn wasteland with this severed head that was the target, and this this fusion core, and he comes across a reoccurring character that Maximus has already saved once from being killed for trying to fornicate with a farmer's chickens.
Not trying, he succeeded.
Oh no, yeah, he succeeded, but the point is, it's no paltry affair.
Really?
Or is it? Anyway, I had to go for the pun. Damn it, you know me. But the point is that this man begins snake oil selling him like immediately, telling him he can fix him right up. This, because his foot is in shambles, like, and we're talking about clear up his shin, like crushed, bleeding. It's hamburger meat with a few nerves still attached to it. That's why he locks the dog in the refrigerator, in the old Nuka-Cola refrigerator, because the dog's even trying to eat his foot. Like it's really gross, but also really funny. So he trades this fusion core to this weird man calling himself a doctor, and this doctor tells him he's going to fix him right up. He puts a few chemicals together, he injects him, and he begins healing automatically. And then tells him he doesn't have to worry about radiation poisoning anymore, and then leaves. From that point, we know where it's going, and this old boy's going to end up being a ghoul. But the whole situation remains hilarious because that's where we get the best line when he should have died and didn't.
Aww.
Oh damn! I knew I shouldn't have trusted a doctor that smelled like that.
Which was honestly hilarious. And he's there and he's like, oh, I forgot that part. I was of the show. I was hungry. Dogmeat says, yeah. So what happens is that he pulls so after summoning the Brotherhood of Steel to him, right? And they're all coming and he sees him, and he's kind of panicking because they hate ghouls, and they will, if they find out that he's a ghoul, they will kill him immediately. And they as he's running off into the desert, he's like, okay, nice to meet you. Sorry about trying to kill you. Okay, bye. And then just leaves. A link to what Dogmeat? So yeah. But so we've got 4 minutes left. We'll wrap it up. Now if that's okay with everyone. Mommy, what would tell me about your stuff?
We're finishing up our Paranormal Supernatural series.
Nice.
I think I'm gonna try to. I had issues Monday, so we're gonna try to maybe do it tomorrow night.
Okay.
And then Saturday will be more Alf, and hopefully we can watch the Babylon 5 animated movie, The Road Home, right before that. And then we're starting a series talking to like content creators and authors, and I don't know what to call it yet, but I want to start branching out and interviewing people, having people on the show. Vic and I have been talking about that. So hopefully we can get that going. Maybe it is this coming Monday. So
yeah. Okay, go check her out. She's at Sci-Fi Mombi. Phil, want to tell us about your crap?
May is going to be mostly Star Wars. You can find me on YouTube, Phil TMNT, Twitter at the Skyr Knight, and you can find me here. Sometimes annoying the crap out of Raven, making him wonder why he became friends with me in the first place, and having Bubba ask for Jesus' help.
Bubba, you want to share your stuff?
Yes, so for these 6 weeks during my local Renaissance Festival, I am not Geek Hero Bubba on other platforms. I am Pirate Lord Bubba. Because of this, just the same Twitter handle. Don't panic. But I'm over on X. You'll see me argue with people that absolutely make a point for deleting offspring in the womb, but not in the way they think they're making the point. Anyway, my point is that I have a lot of fun doing it. Soccer kicking people around the yard like a hooligan, metaphorically, of course. So in any event, all of you have a wonderful week. Be excellent to each other, unless, of course, there is a reason for you to be nasty.
Are you French?
Indeed.
Yes. So thank you everyone for coming, everyone for watching. All of you have a good night. We will see you Friday where we're talking quiet on set. So good night, good luck, God bless, and remember, stay happy, everyone. Peace.